You know, normally I come on here. I'm I'm very bombastic. I'm very energetic. I'm very enthusiastic, and I go through what I'm thinking rather quickly. I mean, I don't play around. I like to talk about the things I'm here to talk about. And today is going to be a bit of a divided episode. Now, you guys are going to watch this on Friday. I'm actually recording it on Thursday. I may, edit, I may re-upload, I may do a few things between here and there, but I sat down and I really decided that I wanted to get into this because I've got the time and I'm kind of tired of putting it off. Let's go over the facts, shall we? Fact 1. On April 1st of this year, the third season premiere of Rick and Morty came out, and it was very subtly, I guess you could say, or not even subtly, it was very overt in basically making everything about, like, the whole episode was about Szechuan sauce. And on the about the McDonald's Szechuan sauce from when Mulan had come out in about the 90s. On the surface, I didn't get the joke. I didn't. I'd watched the episode. I've seen the episode a couple times. It's still gone right. It's still gone right by me until very recently. 2 weeks ago now, on Saturday. No, I'm sorry. It was Friday. Friday, October 6th. McDonald's finally caved to fan pressure and had a very, very limited amount of Szechuan sauce come back out. They specifically made the packaging look to the Rick and Morty aesthetic. They used the same sort of font for the Szechuan sauce wording. They had little aliens that kind of looked Rick and Morty-ish. I mean, I can imagine that McDonald's kind of went to Rick and Morty and said, here's a bunch of money. We want your artists to design a thing so that way we can use your aesthetic in our marketing. And they went with it. And I mean, hell, going out, having 3 jugs of the stuff made in the intervening time between I want to say, the end of last month and the premiere episode. They made 3 big jugs of the Szechuan sauce, officially made, and sent it to Rick and Morty. I think some of it got auctioned off, and Deadmau5, the dubstep artist, actually got one. So that was kind of cool. But so that's kind of the end of the facts. And here's what I'm sorry, that's not the end of the facts. What we had happen on that fateful Friday was long lines of fans attempting in vain to get the Szechuan sauce that they had demanded vocally for months from McDonald's. They stood in these long lines, traveled however far they needed to go, and they were understandably upset when the the massive fast food chain had intentionally made it scarce. So even with people showing up hours in advance, I would say probably showing up, God, if I was going to have done it, I probably would have done it the morning of. Like, I would have went out there at 6 a.m. and I would have just sat there. I wouldn't have even hesitated. And they even had Szechuan sauce lines because they knew that some people would only be in line for the sauce. When they were understandably upset, they began to protest, and apparently there's a story out in California where somebody got stabbed over not having the Szechuan sauce, and there's even a video out there that I'm sure you could look it up. Probably a dozen videos of people just being riotously upset about this thing. So, what does this have to do with this video? Why am I even talking about it? What possible fresh opinion could I have that's different than the memes, that's different than what a lot of people have said? I used to work fast food. I worked for Whataburger. Better part of a year and a half, actually. I started out as a grill cook. I moved to fry cook, and then I moved to cashier, and then drive-through. And so I feel I have a pretty good handle on kind of the mentality of a fast food, and more importantly, a retail employee mindset. So I'm going to start from the position of the fan that I am, because I did highly consider going to go try and get some Szechuan sauce so that way I could, selfie with it, I could eat some of it, and I could try it out. Because to provide a little bit of background on my childhood, Mom and Dad didn't like going to McDonald's. So we rarely ever went, and even then, in about the 90s, I didn't really ever try the sauce. So I don't know how good it was. I don't know how bad it is. So just take that for what you will. My problem is, as a Rick and Morty fan, a fan of the show, McDonald's knew what it was doing. We the fandom, had decried out to McDonald's, hey, please make this sauce a thing again. We want a piece of the show, a part of the show, to come to life again. Now, did the creators of that show know that it was going to blow up that big? No. As I stated, they made a joke. The whole episode was a flippin' joke. It wasn't meant to be taken seriously. Even I don't even know if I'd declare that canon. If I was Rick and Morty, I'd do the off canon. I'd be like, listen, that episode, non-canon. Rick escaped, but it's not canon. And we'll go back into how he did that later. But the whole Szechuan sauce thing, no, never happened. And yeah, sure, that would stir up some debate, and it may even be a revelation to the point where Rick didn't actually escape, because the whole thing declared non-canon would make it that he's still in jail. So, there we go. There you have it. And to have a piece of the fandom, to have a piece of the show come to life, and to say that as a fandom, we made a thing happen. And I've only ever been, kind of in that sphere once. And that was with Derpy Hooves as a brony. I really liked the way that they made her. And I was kind of a little upset that they took away her voice after the whole thing happened, because it was a fine episode to me. But then again, that's my opinion. And so when McDonald's made this sauce, speaking as a fan, I'm really kind of sad that I wasn't able to get it at the time, and I'm actually really glad that having the effect that we did, the fandom did, as far as, mass turnouts and very, very vocal protest to the stores that got attention to them, has now equated into them turning around, reevaluating, and deciding to release the sauce for like a month. I think it's going to be in December. I have to look it up again. But still, they knew that this was going to happen because they had signs made up. I'm guessing that having those signs ahead of time was probably one of those things that they just kind of assumed that they'd eventually run out anyway, so having a sign that said, hey, we're out of the Szechuan sauce, was just preemptive, and they didn't know when they would hang it up. So, makes sense. That having been said, as a fast food employee, fuck the corporate assholes. Again, they knew this was a thing. They only sent so many cases to so many different McDonald's. They targeted specific McDonald's that had certain criteria met. Who knows what that criteria was outside of, I know when I typed in my zip code here, I would have had to have traveled about 20 miles to get Szechuan sauce, just to go to that McDonald's that it was at. That was one of the closest ones to my house that had it. And I have a McDonald's a quarter mile out. I could walk to McDonald's now. And I'm going to be walking I'm going to be walking in the general area of it here very shortly. But they knew what they were doing. They intended for this to go the way that it did. Daycare? No. And it would have been nice. It would have been great if people would realize this following fact. When an employee tells you we don't have any more, don't ask if we have it in the back. Because I swear, I can't count the number of times I've told a customer in any business that I've worked in, hey, we don't have X anymore. I'm sorry. But we can get you Y if you like. Turning them on to alternatives. And when I tell them we don't have X, they go, well, can you look in the back for it? This ain't the 1920s. We don't keep shit hidden from people for any reason, because you can't. You can't hide things from anyone when you work in a retail industry. It can't be done. And then you get the Johnnies, well, we know you've got the sauce. No, we don't. If we did, we'd still be selling it because we'd still be making money. Why don't you just turn around to everybody else behind you after you run out of sauce and go, hey guys, I'm sorry, we don't have any more, you're going to have to go. I hate to do it, I'm sorry, I know it sucks, I know you waited a long time, and I apologize and I feel bad for you, but we don't have any more. You don't see this kind of shit happening with, like, concert tickets. Why? Because assholes are doing what they're doing now, which is scalping it. Yeah, eBay listings. Going a couple $100 for a little packet of Szechuan sauce. Stop buying it. That's all you have to do is stop buying it. That's what happened the first time when we stopped buying the Szechuan sauce, when we stopped caring about it, when it stopped going out at a rate that the corporate jockeys thought, well, hell, this is making a lot of money. Well, now it's not. Now it's not doing anything. Now we got to discontinue it and keep going. And that's what they did. So it really irritates me that as a former fast food worker, that when I say we don't have a thing, these guys kept coming. Now I could understand. You drop by, the lines have dispersed. I don't think they would have dispersed for very quickly, but let's just say, because they opened it up at 2 o'clock Central Time, let's say you drop there about 6. There's no line anymore. Just business as usual. Turn around. You go through the drive-thru thinking, "Hey, man, look, there's no line. I guess I can go through this thing and maybe get some Szechuan sauce." "Yeah, I'd like a 10-piece chicken McNugget with Szechuan sauce." "Oh, I'm sorry, sir. We don't have Szechuan sauce." Just accept it. Hell, they probably posted a thing on the drive-thru window, and the entrance doors. On all the entrances. Just so people knew, hey, we don't have Szechuan sauce right now. And then these people flip out. Don't flip out on the McDonald's people. Don't flip out on anybody working a retail job. All I have to say is, imagine that it's you. Okay? Put yourself in that person's shoes. You're at your job, you're doing your thing, you have to deal with the public, and people keep being assholes. Yeah, I get wanting to be mad about it. It makes sense. Perfectly reasonable, perfectly acceptable, no problem on the surface. The problem that I have is everybody making fun of the people who are in the fandom that decided they wanted the sauce and got upset about not being able to get it. Okay, I get it. I'm kind of upset that I will never get to see The Undertaker wrestle. I won't get to see it. I'll only ever get to see it in video. Why am I upset about it? Because I'm a fan of this. And yeah, if I had known, if you would have told me 2015, oh yeah, next WrestleMania is going to be The Undertaker's last WrestleMania. WrestleMania 33, last time you're ever going to see The Undertaker. Fuck, I'd have made every effort to make money so that way I could have gone and gotten me a set of tickets to say I was there at The Undertaker's last match. So yeah, I can understand being upset. On the other hand, I'm not going to get so pissed that I go burn down the stadium. I'm not going to get so mad that I fight people over it, because it's not worth your anger. And I think that's a valuable lesson that we all have to learn. That I think that there's many people that understand this lesson, but there's so many that don't. That when you don't get the thing that you want, yeah, feel free to be mad, be upset, be whatever. Just don't unleash that on the person behind the counter. They're a human being just like you. They have thoughts, feelings, and they've got other shit to do. They're just there to make the money to pay the bills. You want to be mad at somebody? Get on the line to corporate. Bitch at them for not understanding supply and demand would have been there. Bitch at them for forcing employees to deal with shit that they don't want to deal with. That they would, as rather as good human beings, want to just help you out. But the corporation has made it so that they have to deliver bad news. They have to put up with people all day long that just shit on them for not bending over backwards to do what they want. I seem to recall a book being written called "The Customer is Always Wrong." I'm probably wrong about that. But you know what? It's not a bad idea to say it. Because we live in a day and age now where I can pick up my phone from right behind me here. I can pick it up, turn it on, go to Amazon like that. I can have anything in the world that I really want within reason. I want a little stuffed tiger. Boom! It's coming from Michigan next week. I want a really fancy coffee press that when the water's boiled to a certain temperature, it rises and siphons into the coffee and pours just this amazing cup of beautiful coffee. I can pay $200 and I can have that coffee machine. It's not that hard to do. I want an obscure shirt that I saw on somebody. I type in what the name of the shirt is, or I give a description. Amazon finds it for me. Amazon gets me 10 people who are selling it, and probably for about $20. No problem. Don't expect people to put up with degradation just because they're working. They're on the clock. Anticipate friendliness. Anticipate assistance. Anticipate help. Don't anticipate subservience. They're not there to kiss your ass. And on the fandom side, guys, real talk, we did a thing. We did a thing that not many fandoms can say they did. There are very few fandoms in this world that said that could get a thing done. And they did. You know what? Why don't we do a positive thing? The ALS Ice Bucket Challenge was a marvelous positive thing. You know what else would be really positive? Helping Egyptology. Fucking Ubisoft has a Egyptology outreach. They've planned this. I don't think it's been fully fleshed out, but it's there. Why doesn't a fandom turn around and make that a thing? Maybe that's what they're doing. Maybe that's what they're trying. And we should support it. Because there are far too many toxic things in this world that have a lot of support that it doesn't deserve. Let's turn around and make something positive. Hell, yeah, I'd probably sell a packet of Szechuan sauce on eBay. But I don't know if I'd keep the money. I'd probably just turn around and donate it, because what am I going to do with it? I've had my sauce. Sell it for $1. I make far more than I spent. Because Extra sauce now is like what? 30 cents? 27? Somewhere in there? Can't be more than 50. Even if I make 100 times what I put in. I made a profit. Send that money on somewhere else that needs it. Just an idea. Just a thought. I am Robert the Coroner Drapp. Thank you for watching. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, share. And I will see you all next time.